So the 8 dimensions really developed out of thinking about answering the question, what makes us feel more human? And when we asked people this question, we found people knew what we were talking about. They knew exactly what made them feel more human, what made them feel less human in healthcare situations. And we just tried to systematize this a little bit and came up with these 8 dimensions with the help of some philosophy that was relevant to this question, what does it mean to be human? And we found, there could be more, but we found these 8 dimensions really helpful and interesting, and dimensions which people could relate to. And really, these dimensions were words or names in answer to the question, how are you? And in answer to this question, how are you? The answer very often isn't cannot be medically defined. It's much more complex and has much more breadth and depth than just a medical definition of how you are. So these 8 dimensions really arose out of all the ways in which you could answer the question, how are you? And so what we'll give you a little taste of now is what these 8 dimensions are. So togetherness is really about how we feel connected to others and our sense of belonging with others. And this can involve our sense of connection with our family, our loved ones, our friends, and our community. And it's really important in care that somehow what we retained in care is a sense of how we are connected on a human level to others. And this is one of the things that make us feel human. Okay. Personal journey is about how it's really important as human beings for us to have a sense of continuity in time. In other words, how we are, in a sense, a living story that is unfolding with a sense of a past, a present, and a future. And we can be ruptured or taken out of that story. When we are dehumanized, we are almost taken out of that story, and people don't understand where we're coming from and where we are going to. And it's really important for our care that that sense of continuity of care, continuity of personhood, be somehow acknowledged in the care we are given, where we come from, where we are now, and where we are going to. Another aspect that is really important in feeling human is that our uniqueness is acknowledged. What we are as a unique person, different from other people. In healthcare systems and in systems in general, it's very easy to treat one another as categories, to just look at the diagnosis or the category. And what gets left out here is really looking for what is particularly unique to me or to you as a person. And it's really important, therefore, in care to interact in such a way that not just the category is looked at or the diagnosis is looked at, but something about your difference and what is unique to you as a person in order to feel human. Okay, so the term insiderness really acknowledges how important it is that you have a point of view and that life is lived ultimately from inside yourself, from what's philosophically called your subjectivity, you as a person, which people from the outside often miss. So it's really important in health and care situations to get your point of view as to how things are for you, because things from the outside need to connect with that. And if they don't connect with that, one will feel dehumanized and not fully met as the insiderness one is as a person. The term agency really refers to how as people we are active in our lives rather than passive. And if we are made just to feel like passive objects, things done to us, we will feel less human. So it's really important in the care situations that we have, how to engage people in a way that they feel they have some say or a sense of agency in the kind of care that they are participating in, so that they are active beings rather than passive recipients. Okay? So a sense of place refers to how it is important for us as human beings to be related to our physical environment in a way in which we can feel a sense of being at home. We can get so dislocated from a sense of at-homeness in various situations in which we feel unfamiliar or feel alien or feel like an exile in our relationship to our environment. So it becomes really important in care situations. How do we create a built environment or situations or consulting rooms or architecture that helps us have a sense of familiarity and a sense of feeling, oh, I feel at home here. Yes. So the term sense-making refers to how, as thinking beings, it's really important to us that the care we participate in makes sense to us, either on a big level or at a small level. At a big level, how do we? Does it make sense to us the kind of care we're getting in a particular setting? Has it been explained to us the kind of care we go, where the kind of evidence it's based on, or why we're having the kind of care we're having? In other words, the why question seems to us to be very important as human beings. Otherwise, we'll just end up confused and anxious and somewhat depersonalized. So to take us with care involves information as to how it all fits together. Yes. Okay, so embodiment refers to how there is a different way of sensing our bodies than just looking at it from outside. In other words, instruments can look at our bodies from outside. We are looked at by other people and categorized in various ways in terms of our gender, in terms of the way we look and whatever. And we can be so focused on this external perspective of the body that we can somehow marginalize or forget to refer to the way our body feels from within. So embodiment refers to how the body feels from within. And our body from within gives us very complex messages. It's where intuition comes from, how we are in a particular situation, and gives us information far more than all these ways we are defined from externally. And so one of the things that is really important to attend to in our care situation is to find out from people what their bodily messages are telling them about their situation, and to somehow bring that intuitive, holistic way of knowing from them into care more. Yes. So an example of referring to the feeling of my body from inside might be in response to a person or a situation. I might feel energized, or I might feel somehow shut out or closed down. And I feel this physically in my body. And it's really important that I, first of all, respect that my body is telling me something important about my needs and about my situation. And more importantly, that other people can come to respect that my body might be telling us something important about my situation. And there are even examples in which my body might be telling me something about my medical condition that needs to be respected, and it can get quite subtle in that way. So, having briefly named these 8 dimensions or things to think about that we need to attend to in trying to facilitate humanly sensitive care, we can now listen to some really interesting stories from the project that give examples of how people felt more human or less human in various situations, and see if you can notice which of the dimensions are being referred to. Often these dimensions are overlapping, and often people are referring to more than one dimension in any situation because they all overlap and come together. So see if you can notice and name which of the dimensions people are talking about.